Hello, I'm Sheila McCarthy. Join me on a journey to Bolivia where Canadian Feed the Children and our partners are working together to help children live better days. Bolivia is a beautiful country full of color and life and love, but there are many challenges as well. More than half of Bolivia's population live in absolute poverty. Illiteracy, poor sanitary conditions, absence from school, and infant mortality due to malnutrition are among the highest in the region. Partnership is at the heart of all that Canadian Feed the Children does. Together with community-based organizations, we address the complex conditions facing families and children affected by poverty. It is important to give the right help at the right time to the children we support. Our many vital projects provide safe havens for children, healthcare, education, vocational support, nutrition, and comfort to Bolivian children and their families. Canadian Feed the Children is the bridge between Canadians who want to reach out to help and the precious children we support together. So many children affected by poverty, so many ways to help. So Canadian to care.
In the past 10 days, we've been through about a dozen of our projects throughout Bolivia. All the projects are different, but they have a common theme, and obviously it's always about the children. But it's really about the marginalized children, the ones who are living in the streets, the ones who have no parents, the ones who are not going to school, the ones who are addicted to drugs, the young girls and boys who are forced into prostitution. So it's really the marginalized, the ones who would be forgotten, and really if they didn't have a chance through projects like this, would really be left in the streets, and really they would die. We visited the Little Flower Project, which is, I think, what you'd call a safe haven for young girls who have been forced into prostitution, a young being all the way down to the age of 12. It gives them an opportunity to see that they can do something else with their life. They gain self-esteem, they get skills that they can take out into the world. And it doesn't always guarantee that we're going to get these young girls out of the commercial sex trade, but it means that at least they've got an alternative. And once again, if they didn't have an alternative or an opportunity that projects like Little Flower provide, they'd be left in the streets with nowhere else to go. If you look at all the projects, I'm certain that they're having an impact. When you walk into the projects, you see a lot of reasonably happy, smiling kids who socialize with us. They jump around with us. They're sometimes working on computers. They're doing their homework. They're getting fed. It's hard to imagine unless you've seen it or unless you've been told about it what they came from. And they came right out of poverty, right out of the streets, right out of the blue sniffing, right out of prostitution. So I think that one can't help but realize that we're making an impact with these children in Bolivia. When we think of places like Africa, I think we think a little bit more about infectious disease and we worry about mosquito nets and HIV. I think in Bolivia it's a little bit different, though all those things do exist. It's a lot more about security, child protection, giving them a chance to get that security, get that freedom, get that confidence, get that education. So once again, it's not all the infections that we think of when we think of lesser developed countries. It's very different, but it's an equally important face of poverty that we haven't seen in other projects in other parts of the world. I think what surprised me on this trip was how prevalent the problems of these children are. It happens in every city all over Bolivia. I think I was surprised, not surprised, but just totally impressed and gratified by all the people we saw working in our projects. Mostly women. They were committed, they were dedicated, they were well-trained, they were passionate and compassionate about the children. And I think Canadian Feed the Children, through all these people who are working in our projects, are really making a tremendous impact on the lives of these children. We visited the Mujer project, which is all about microenterprise. Microenterprise has been in the news in the last year because of the Nobel Prize in Bangladesh. And you really can't separate the women from the health of their children. And giving the women a chance to earn a living, to have better occupations, to be able to support their families, raise their children, get their children into school, is intertwined with the health of these children. So that's what Mujer offers. We sponsor all the child centers within the Mujer centers. So not only are they able to get to their meetings, which are very important for the business aspect of what they do, but it also gives them the freedom to know that their children are well looked after while they're there. And while those children are there, they're getting training in life skills and getting their health checked and their immunizations checked and getting good snacks. So again, what's good for the mothers is great for the kids, and what's good for the kids is a lot better for the mothers. One of the things I'll take home is getting across to my friends and colleagues the fact that there are all of these forgotten children, that if nobody looked after them, if nobody cared, if nobody provided the shelter that projects like the ones we've seen do, that they'd stay on the streets, they would get nowhere, they would spiral downward, and really it wouldn't be an infectious cause of death, it would be more of a social cause of death. And that's equally important, and that's what we're trying to do, and that's what we're trying to change in Bolivia. Canadian Feed the Children works with local partners, alongside local partners, and I really believe that's the way it should be. It's their country, their communities, their children. They have the biggest stake in what goes on. But above and beyond that, they also have the expertise, and there are very well-trained people here who are running wonderful programs, very imaginative, innovative, efficient. And everybody we've seen, it all funnels down to the children. They care tremendously about the children that they're serving. So I think that is our goal, is to be able to work in partnership with local partners on the ground in places like Bolivia, and that's how we can make the biggest impact.
Hi, my name is Sheila McCarthy, and we're at a school called Niño Jesus de Praga, and this is Yvette, and she's one of the children that we're helping at Canadian Feed the Children, aren't we? We work with local partners to help provide programs in child protection, to support children's rights, and to help get them off the streets. Bueno. So many children affected by poverty, so many ways to help, so Canadian to care.